Hey, back with you again. Now, before I get started, I've already put the those who already sub to me already know the drill, but those who are new to my channel, I already put a big fat warning in the description box, and I'll give you this warning right here. This video is going to contain some cussing, so yeah, so you consider yourself warned. As those of you are wondering, who in the world is this heifer right here? Well, there's a reason. There's a very good reason why I'm calling this piece of work a heifer by the name of Leanne. In case you didn't hear, like about sometime on the weekend, like last weekend, uh, Leanne thought it'd be a smart idea to a climb over a barrier that was supposed to protect, humans away from animals, so they won't get scratched, bit, or whatever. So she climbed over, and she thought it'd be cute and funny to take a selfie. So then, at a cage where there's a black jaguar. So the black jaguar did what a jaguar is supposed to do: lunged at her ass, mauled her ass, attacked her. But she only got a scratch, but there's a big nasty gash. And there's even a video clip where you see she's writhing and crying in pain, how the jaguar scratched her arm and shit like that. So now she's being now they're speaking out today. So as you can see, and this is the jag. Well, not the. I mean, well, the creature, but this is Let me see. This is the jaguar that scratched her up. You know, I know some people are concerned. Are they gonna kill it? Are they gonna euthanize it? Are they gonna kill it like they did with this case I just did last week about Mikhail Prasek, who kept a lion as a pet? So the lion and the pregnant lion both got shot, for being a fucking lion. No, but good news. Good news, though. They're not going to euthanize this beautiful creature. So, yay. So, yes, finally a zoo with some fucking sense. That the jaguar was just being a jaguar. And this was her own dumbass fault. So, she was interviewed, but she didn't want to give her last name. But let's get started. Okay, give me a second. I learned my lesson. Woman who was mauled by a jaguar when she leaned over a security fence to take a photo admits she did a foolish thing, but insists the zoo needs to improve safety as it emerges the same cat attacked a man last year. The entitlement of a particular group of people of this fucking planet. But continuing, a woman who was mauled by a jaguar at an Arizona zoo after she leaned over a security barrier. There was a security barrier to get a picture. Has spoken out for the first time, insisting she has learned her lesson. Identified as Leanne, the woman says she feels lucky to be alive after the frightening encounter with a black jaguar at a Wildlife World Zoo near Phoenix on Saturday. Leanne, in her 30s, says she saw the jungle cat pressed up against the cage of its enclosure and spotted the opportunity to get some pictures. So, leaning over a security barrier, Leanne positioned her camera in front of the animal, prompting to reach a paw, prompting it to reach a paw through the cage wire and swipe her arm. The black jaguar was up against the fence, and we happened to be walking by. And said, "Hey," it said, "Hey, let's get some pictures." Leanne recalled, "I was in the wrong for leaning over the barrier, but I think the zoo should consider moving their fence back." No, that should be your dumbass. That moving back away from the creature's fence. But I'll continue. Okay, here's the picture. Here's the video of this dumb bitch. Here's the picture of the beautiful creature. I know, yeah. Remember that little fence? Yeah, they she's like what she's talking about needs to be secure. I'm like, you see this? She climbed over that, and here's the wall. So yeah, she put herself in that fucking position. Fucking dumbass. But let me continue. Let me close that. Passerby were summoned into action when Leanne began crying out in pain. Adam Wilkerson, who was at the zoo with his two sons, distracted the jaguar by pushing a water bottle into the enclosure so Leanne could get could be attended to. So Wilkerson captured the video documenting the aftermath of the attack, showing Leanne writhing in pain on the floor with blood pouring from her wrist. She was Sorry, let me test. She was rushed to the hospital and treated for stable, non-life-threatening injuries, requiring only stitches. She was released the same day. I never expected this, said Leanne. I feel like we're all human. We make mistakes, and I learned my lesson. That was no mistake, bitch. And anybody can reach out. I'm not the first. And if they don't move the fence, I'm probably not going to be the last, she added. Agreeing with Leanne in an interview with local news, Wilkerson described the zoo for being a lot more open than others, allowing visitors to get closer to the animals. Although he said the waist-high security fence are sufficient for those who don't try to lean over them. Common sense would say that probably would not be a good idea, he said to the New York Times. Yeah, this was avoidable. This was fucking common sense. Continuing. Yeah, here's a picture. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was graphic images. Yeah, so then in the wake of what Leanne describes as a quote unquote crazy accident, no, that just it was just nothing but pure stupidity rather than an attack. That said, it has emerged that a similar incident concerning the same Jaguar happened at the park last year. Jeff Allen needed medical treatment after he leaned over a barrier last summer and received a clawing from the black wildcat. Allen suffered a nasty wound to his thumb and required eight stitches. So he hired an attorney to bid to persuade the zoo implement extra safety measures, but the case was never reached to court because this was fucking avoidable, and the zoo had fucking evidence to prove like you you see this, don't cross over this fucking barrier. That's why I didn't reach to court. So he, so of course, so I, and so he, and in quote, he said, "I didn't want money." He told ABC, "All my wife and I wanted was, I mean, a kid could cross over the barrier if he wanted to, and if my 3-year-old grandson wanted to cross over, he could do it. I never climbed over a barrier. I never stepped over a barrier. I was behind the barrier, and because and just reached out my arm." Continuing, Allen said, the security barriers, which are the security barriers, which are 3 feet high and set 4 feet away from the enclosure of the fence meet safety guidelines, according to the Wildlife World spokesperson Christy Morecambe. We are taking consideration all aspects of safety pertaining to this exhibit as well as throughout the entire park because that is our biggest concern. People need to respect the barriers and understand they are put in place for the safety of everyone. Thank you. And after the video emerged online, concern for safety of the animal was rife on social media, with many speculating the jaguar may face the same fate as the famed gorilla Harambe, who was euthanized in an incident involving a 3-year-old boy in Cincinnati. Which in that situation was a different story because this was a kid who did not intentionally go, like, well, he fell into the gorilla pit. This woman, she crossed over intentionally to get us a fucking selfie. But continuing, I ain't gonna get into that. For the time being, the jaguar has been temporarily removed from the enclosure while an investigation is carried out. In statement to Twitter, the zoo ensured no harm would come to the animal, as they say that transpired wasn't the jaguar's fault. We can promise you nothing will happen to our jaguar. She's a wild animal, and there were proper barriers in place to keep our guests safe. Not a wild animal's fault when the barriers are crossed. Thank you. And sending prayers to Leanne and her family. So the zoo officials have said the incidents involving Alan and Leanne are only 2 in recent memory. Since the video emerged, Leanne has actively denied initial claims that she was attempting to take a selfie with the creature when it swiped her. But she just said she wanted to take a selfie. Well, tell me, I'll continue. She also voiced disdain towards Wilkinson for circulating the video of her subsequent discomfort in the first place. Oh, showing that you were a dumbass. So she A study conducted by the NCBI in 2018 determined the 259 deaths that had occurred from the selfie-related fatalities between October 2011 and November 2017, most of which occurred where the victim was engaging in a high-risk activity such as standing at the edge of a cliff, even though there's a bunch which they crossed over a barrier, or on the ledge of a tall building. So, according to New York Times, after four selfie-related deaths at Catskill Falls and in Catskill Mountains, New York State has implemented new measures to make sure more areas are safe and accessible. Even though this shit is common sense, on Sunday, the Rural Metro Fire Department released the recording of the 911 call made from the Wildlife World Zoo after Leanne was attacked. Her arm was in pretty bad shape, a staffer at the zoo tells the fire department. The operator asked the location of the victim at the zoo, instructs the caller to keep pressure on the woman's wound with a cloth and put another cloth if she bleeds through the first one. She's in like really bad pain. The zoo worker tells the dispatcher, who responds, "I bet." The zoo director Mickey Olson said, "When people do not respect the barriers, there's always a chance there might be a problem. There's no way to fix people crossing barriers. That happens occasionally, so we put barriers there, and if people cross them, they get in trouble." Yeah, this shit was fucking avoidable, and this entitled bitch has the nerve of that saying they need to implement safety when they fucking did. You chose to cross that fucking boundary. Like even like Mr. Superboy, like oh well, aka your world, aka Mr. Superboy, even discussed about there's a particular group of people on this planet who don't know how to respect fucking boundaries, even though there's already safety implemented over there. But she felt so entitled that you know, and then she has a nerve audacity to cry that she got attacked, even though she says she was in the wrong, but she's still trying to blame the zoo when it's her own fucking fault. Just like with the whole situation with Otto Warmberg, the people are crying saying like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened to him." When that shit was avoided, because with Otto Warmberg, he willingly went to North Korea and knowing about all the crazy crap that goes on over there. He didn't, and he was on camera pulling off a poster, laughing, caught on camera, and again, then he has a nervous ass to cry about, "Oh, I'm sorry," and now guess what? His ass is dead. And then there's more multiple incidents, especially the one about the guy named Michael Fay in Singapore who vandalized people's cars, and they had the nerve to actually cry like a bitch when he got his ass whipped and jailed in Singapore. And a particular group of people in that community were like, "Oh, why they had to cane his butt and leave scars and shit? Why the fuck was he going around vandalizing other people's cars in another country?" Huh. I swear the nerve of some motherfuckers. So it looks like, and it hasn't even been a week I had talked about these animal attack stories. So now I wonder, are they gonna pull this bitch's criminal record just like they did with that little boy who accidentally fell into a gorilla cage? But except in the case, this woman intentionally, you know, went like crossed over a barrier where there was a black jaguar. I wonder they're gonna pull a criminal record. Probably not, knowing the double standards of this country. But anywho, give me your 2 cents about this, about the sheer stupidity. And you know what? I don't feel sorry for this bitch. So, you know what? I feel nothing. And my reaction to this shit, I will I will let Fred Sanford I would let I'll let Fred Sanford to take it from here. What he has to say. Give me a second.